I had always been interested in the elongated skulls down in Peru. I'd watched a lot of Brian Forrester, if you've ever watched his channel, and just was amazed at some of these elongated skulls. And found myself down in Peru in 2024, right after, probably 4 or 5 months after they presented these little Nazca mummies, these little
Mm.
ones, to the Mexican Congress, if you remember that whole debacle. Everybody, I'm just a normal guy that's interested in these things. And I was down there, I guess, at the right time. I had an iPhone camera, I had some time, and the proponents were willing to talk to me. I actually got to see the mummies this last April in 2025. And so on Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a new video on my YouTube channel about this that's basically highlighting three hard to explain anomalies. And there are some weird things that are need answers. And reports were coming back that the genetic sequence was only 70% human and 30% completely unknown. The feds literally raided the press conference, the Ministry of Culture, and I'm just sitting there with my iPhone watching this happen. And so there's been this huge struggle between the University of Ica, who preserves these bodies and keeps them, is kind of their caregivers right now, and the Ministry of Culture, which oversees all antiquities in Peru. Possibility number one, these are hoaxes. If that is the truth, that these are hoaxes, this would be the greatest archaeological hoax of all time, in my humble opinion. This is one of the greatest discoveries in anthropology, archaeology coming out of South America ever.
And telling you
Right?
why it thinks they're hoaxes. And I think it's the easy one for the general public to go to, namely money exchanging hands.
They were basically Frankenstein with a bunch of chicken bones, maybe a llama skull. I might be wrong on the llama skull part of that, but completely different than what we're talking about with Maria Montserrat. Red flag number one is, where were these found? No, why can't they tell us that? The person that supposedly found this is a known grave robber, and you know sells things that he finds to member buyers in the black market. Archaeology is like a crime scene, right? The way like an archaeologist is going to go there and try to figure out what happened, where they were placed, what was going on.
You wouldn't take their word for it. No, no, we have to go to the scene of the
No.
crime. We have to investigate. We have to see what's round about. We have to see what else was there. Are there tracks and everything like that?
But recently I've been seeing some images circulated online by people down there that are showing these decapitated giant heads, and I mean giant heads. And are why aren't there scans of those? We if if they're scanning all the other ones, can we scan those giant heads so we can confirm that what we're seeing on the surface is what's underneath the surface as well? Or is
Mm.
it just molded around some skull?
I think I know. I think I've seen enough medical dramas and movies over the years to recognize a scan picture, but I don't know what can and can't be faked. You know, what can and can't be put inside of something to make it look like a body, a spine, a spinal cord, all that kind of stuff.
But I will say, and maybe Jesse meant it this way, from the eyes of a layman, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Mm.
Dr. Zuniga Sr. told me that Maria, the first one that was found, has 32 vertebrae instead of 33. Humans have 33 vertebrae. Now, that's not impossible. That is an anomaly that happens with humans sometimes, but that's notable because we are trying to find things that are different, right? Now, can I tell you the most interesting anomaly that to me is so hard to explain if it's true? I'll send the pictures. Organic tissue fused to the metal rod. And so that would indicate that that was placed on something when it was alive. Um, that's really strange. Michael's documentary, basically that some type of artificial manipulation was going on, and genetic testing was happening down there where they're creating these hybrid humans, is what the proponents say. The fetus has three fingers, and if that was the case, that's pretty hard to explain. That would be wild. Some
Mm.
of this stuff might just be ancient graffiti.
It's
So
not
I
for
don't know.
them. It's not for them on the ground. It's for something up there, which is looking down or coming down. Otherwise, it seems incredibly pointless.
But that being said, a lot of that's under the assumption that if these are real, that they're, aliens that came from space and not from Earth or,
Mm.
down here. I just know enough about, like, I guess what they call plot project Bluebeam, and then you got Jeremy Corbell talking about the imminent, you know, lie that's about to be
Mm.
told about the craft that's coming. I've spent enough time down in Peru chasing this that I've had sleepless nights, flabbergasted by this. Montserrat and Maria look real. Sebastian looks real. Jesse Michaels is going to be funding potentially a new DNA test with, like, top of the line colossal biosciences. This is a company that took genetic sequences, ancient genetic sequences with modern ones, and created something that's similar to a dire wolf. I said, guys, this Nazca Mummies thing is about to have its wave three. Wave one was the press conference in Mexico, and then it kind of died down, right? And then that's wave two, the die down. And then wave three is about to go parabolic on interest in this by the end of Q4 2025 into 2026.
We need to get US scientists on this for whatever reason. Some of the
Right.
best labs, I get that, and the best folks are in these other countries. Not that they're not, throughout the world. However, there just seems to be a stigma unless it comes from the States. And if Jesse and Co. can science the shit out of this stuff, that would certainly help move things forward.
If these are fakes, then someone's going to jail. Like, they've manipulated bodies. Maria is not a doll. Maybe Maria has manipulations, but Maria was at one point a living being. Maybe the hands have been manipulated, but definitely was a living human or humanoid, whatever.
And AI can
You,
help clean them up. So involved so quickly, like a kid at Christmas, that he can't see the wood for the trees, comes, I think, a lot of stigma as well. And there's only so many times the boy who cried wolf can cry wolf before people don't come listening anymore.
and I just kind of whispered in his ear, like, Jaime, can you please give us a statement for the English audience? I hear about the money involved, and I was warned by locals down in Ica, like, don't snoop around too much. It's not safe. Like, there's a dark element to this that not a lot of people talk about. And like, there's so many theories on this. So, just a couple things on the metal. And I hope I answered your question there. So, one of them is osmium, which is roughly 1,500 times rarer than gold, and was found in the 19th century, so the 1800s. Like, humans, we didn't really know about it until the 1800s. And same thing with the other one, cadmium, very rare and found in the 1800s. Some
It looked like in one of the videos they broke a finger of one of the beings, which wasn't a great look to a lot of folks. And for me, if you've got something truly non human, something potentially exotic, extraterrestrial, a missing piece of our ancestry, has this been handled badly?
Let's not just put out scans of, like, the ones that are hard to explain. The little ones have these rods right in their chest that supposedly have organic tissue fused to them, is what's being reported.
Uh,
I think Brian Forrester had a video down in Bolivia where he was claiming that they found a newborn infant skeleton with an elongated skull. And this is a elongated skulls, the way we understand it, is a process.
mm,
So if these infants are having elongated skulls, what's up with that? Are you kidding me? This is insane. It would change everything. His name's Raul. He's a friend of mine. He shows these huge elongated skulls just laying out there in the desert, not in museums. Like, there's weird stuff in Peru. There's a lot of weird stuff. The brow is so big, if it's true that what's underneath what we're seeing on the surface is like that, then, like, slam dunk. It's real, right? But why aren't they releasing any scans of that?
Uh,
In fact, we haven't seen the crescendo yet. We haven't seen the peak. It's building right now. There's too many anomalies involved with this to just say, no, you're wasting your time down there. No way. I wasn't wasting my time down there. Are you kidding me? It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. Like this is I'm so glad I went down there when I did.